What is going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday.
Yep.
It is Tuesday. I'm losing my damn mind, but you know what? We're so happy you could join us on this episode. It is June 2nd. We are into June. Really is becoming summer. We got a lot to talk about in the baseball world, and we are going to catch up on the football news that we didn't touch on yesterday. So on the baseball side, that's where we'll start the show. And here's the deal. We are in June. We're almost to the halfway point. When we get through this month, we will be. And so we're going to look at what the state of Major League Baseball is right now and some storylines around that, including one story that goes to Pittsburgh that isn't necessarily about what's happening in the wins and loss column. Well, maybe just a column that's going out into the media is what has people abuzz there. And also, we got to talk about college baseball because in June, it's College World Series and teams punch their ticket to the Super Regionals, and it has been absolutely electric, and softball for that matter as well, as it has been an unbelievable NCAA tournament for both softball and baseball. Yeah, then we'll touch on a little bit on the Orioles. We talked a lot about them yesterday, and then we have two guests that are joining us in the football world to talk about all the moves, but not only are these two football guests, have close ties to the moves surrounding Myles Garrett or what's going on with the Rams. They're both from Maryland. So to join us first at 3:30, longtime defensive coordinator and head coach Jim Schwartz is going to join us, Marylander. And then other Marylander, Rob Havenstein, who just recently retired. He's going to come on and talk about what he is up to specifically, still staying close in the game of football. So that and a whole lot more. So if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button, Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, leave us a review. It helps us grow. And check us out on social media at Ryan Ripken Show. I think I did it all correctly. Bali, how we doing?
I'm doing well, actually. Won't lie. It was one of those things when I was told we were having Havenstein on that I was like, oh, hell yeah. And when I was doing the research before it, that's when I remembered, like, I completely forgot that right after the Super Bowl, he had retired. So congrats to him. That's awesome. Yeah. Baseball's baseballing. Just a lot of weird things still. Feel like I saw someone say this. The casual baseball fan doesn't appreciate the gritty months of baseball because, like, if you tune in on the opening few weeks and then you wait until the October push and all that, like, you see all this excitement and stuff. But there's something about those middle months of baseball when you get randomly a Rays player, Ryan Heasley, is just throwing up on the mound and stuff like that. You have this whole Pirates situation that's not even on the field. Fernando Tatis, just shout out him for hitting a home run. Just get that monkey off your back. That was big. Just baseball's fun. What a weird, quirky sport. I mean, the Jesus Sanchez thing, just you never know what you're going to get on a night-to-night basis. And, I mean, the biggest game of the year tonight, Angels versus Rockies, Tomoyuki Sagano versus Grayson Rodriguez, must-see TV. I know for fact I'll be tuned in.
Tuned in, baby. Very tuned up, tuned in. And also the other part when we look at the baseball season, at least from MLB standpoint, we hear the dog days of summer is typically around August. That's where the phrase initially came from. But you talk to guys now, June is one of those months because the excitement of the first 2 months, your opening day happens and you're getting your feet set and there's still that excitement. Then May, you still have a little bit of it. And then once you get to June, that actually becomes the new dog days of summer because now you're dealing with struggle. Now you're at a point where you're hopefully in it or you're battling or maybe you're playing well. This is where things set in a little bit more. The body's a little bit more achy. You're dealing with a little more shit. And right now, here we are, June 2nd, and there's a lot to deal with there. But on the college baseball side and softball, well, no, this is the money time. Mm-hmm. This is where it all matters. And the intensity level picks back up, and it has been tremendous. But before we get into all that here in just a moment, We appreciate all of you, and we appreciate
CQ.
Well done, Bali. And CQ. For those that are wondering, we talk about summer, and we're launching into summer. If you want to launch into summer with CQ, how about no first payment for 90 days on a new or used auto loan from CQ? Offer expires July 31st. You can't have a CQ refinance, but any new or used auto loan from CQ, no first payment for 90 days. And if you want to figure out more information about that, visit cqmd.org/auto to learn more. CQ, proud sponsor of the Ryan Ripken Show, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate CQ. So, Zach, why don't we start with the college baseball side in a second? Or actually, you have the anniversary.
Yeah, we got the
My bad.
anniversary,
We got it. Oh, my bad. There was another day in June. Specifically, it's today. You're right.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, Zach.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Do you think
What
people know what the anniversary is?
Maybe if they've been online. I mean, it's maybe they don't know the date, but I'm sure they remember the moment. That's for sure.
So, nope, it's not an anniversary for Bali. Nothing to do with me, but if you are a baseball fan and you're old enough, and that's now been
16 years.
Wow.
That does not feel like it should be 16 years.
So it is 16 years since the infamous final play that would have given a perfect game. Jim Joyce, the umpire, made a decisive call that robbed Armando Galarraga of a perfect game 16 years ago today. And I remember the play vividly. I've seen the play already today. Ground ball to Miguel Cabrera. It's in the 4-hole. Second baseman may or may not have gotten it, but Miggy goes for it. Armando's coming over to cover. It's going to be close. It's bang, bang. And Jim Joyce calls safe. And everyone knew it was the wrong call. You saw the replay. My heart went out for Jim Joyce. It's also a reason why you're very thankful for replay now. You can't overturn it. And because that's the tradition of the game, the call stands as it is. In that case, that was a moment that was taken away, a perfect moment. And there was the play right there, the screenshot. Clearly out. And the next day, Jim Joyce is behind the plate, and Armando Galarraga handed the lineup card to him, and Jim Joyce, in tears, accepted it. It was tough. It was tough, but like I said, that's how the game was, right? And it's tradition, and this is why I give umpires a lot of credit, even though I gave them a lot of grief over time. In the moment, it is a very hard call to make, and Jim thought he made the right call. And still 16 years later, it's talked about. But I think everyone, no one felt worse than Jim, Zach, with that. But 16 years ago.
16 years is crazy. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Please.
Over the years, I've realized something. This was maybe, if you want to talk about being remembered, your name, your fame, this was better than throwing a perfect game for Armando Galarraga. Now, I understand in the moment he wants the perfect game. I'm sure now if you ask him a million times out of a million, he'd rather Jim Joyce give him that 27th out. He gets it. But every time a perfect game is brought up, every time someone is throwing a near perfect game, you don't always remember everyone who threw a perfect game. Sometimes it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot he threw it. But everyone remembers the 28 out perfect game. Everyone remembers Jim Joyce making that same safe call. The picture of Miggy with his hands over his head in disbelief of what just happened. I mean, Galarraga puts his arms up. He's about to celebrate. And then it's like, he's safe? How could you? Would he prefer to have the perfect game? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. But over the years, I've realized he has become synonymous with the perfect game, because every time someone goes, oh, well, you haven't had a perfect game since this. Oh, this many perfect games. Now there's one more. Now, don't forget about the 28 out perfect game. So, yes, I know he would take the perfect game in a heartbeat, but I think there's something to be said about living in baseball history. As I genuinely believe in 50 years, 60 years, they're still going to be talking about this.
I mean, I get your point. I do. I get it. That it will be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what also would still be talked about? A perfect game. Because it's in the record books. It's there. Perfect game, Armando Galarraga. It's there. So you're saying about talking about this? Yeah, they would talk about the perfect game. Now, to the extent of the moment, would they talk about that perfect game more than others? Probably not. It's because of what happened there, but 16 years ago. And actually, I was thinking about that. Jim Schwartz was in Detroit coaching the Lions that year.
Yeah.
I'm curious. He's a big baseball guy. I'm curious if he got to see that. And yes, we know replay was there. That's why when we could watch it in real time, but it wasn't that you could have replay make an assist during that game. And look how far we've come in the last 16 years when it comes to that, or even thinking about, wow, why didn't we have that earlier? But lives in infamy. And that's that. But Armando Galarraga, hell of an effort. And we salute you for that. And Jim Joyce, you're human, man. And I still live with that too. I think everyone's moved on and moved on to it. And here we are in 2026. And speaking of moving on, let's move on to the college baseball situation here. It's been electric. I mean, honestly, all of it has been electric. On the softball side, by the way, Oklahoma's just ruled, softball scene forever, and they didn't make the Women's College World Series, which is insane when you think about how dominant they have been. And there has been some absolute electric games. And our boy KB, Kevin Brown's been on the call out there for the Women's College World Series. And on top of that, the men's tournament is going on right now. And Zach, UCLA bounced by St. Mary's. Georgia Tech was walked off, 2 seed bounced. But I think the biggest or the most electric, symbolic moment of college and sports and love and enthusiasm was actually in Morgantown in West Virginia. Was. And game 2 of the West Virginia Mountaineers versus the Kentucky Wildcats, West Virginia was down to their final outs in the 9th. And then there was some mistakes by Kentucky, then some plays made by West Virginia, which then included a go-ahead home run, which then West Virginia wins that game. They go to a winner-take-all game 3. And, of course, was it down to the wire? You're damn right it was. And West Virginia gets a base hit in the 10th inning. Center fielder can't make a play for Kentucky. And the Mountaineers walk it off. And not only was that place buzzing, dude. There was a couple people on X. I'm blanking on the name. They said you should come to a game next year. I would love to come to that. And mainly for what this video is here of what they did after it. And this is why we love sports. So we're not going to play the song, but I think you guys could guess what the faithful are singing there. And if you're listening, it's Country Roads, Take Me Home to a Place I Belong. West Virginia, the entire crowd. I mean, Zach, they say this is what sports is about. This is kind of what sports is truly about, community. And one hell of a series there, a regional out there in Morgantown.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. It is. It's one of those moments where you understand that things are just bigger in places. Like it's more, we say this whole thing about, oh, it's more than just a game and all that. It's moments like this where you see the community that surrounds these players, that it's not just playing baseball on a diamond for no reason. You represent more than just yourself, more than just your teammates. I mean, this is a sold out crowd in Morgantown, West Virginia, all singing country roads together, players on the field. This is what it's about. It's moments like these, the champagne's great. The winning is awesome, but it's having the moments like this with the community, with your teammates. This is what you play for. This is what you play for all through all the good moments, all the bad moments, and it happening through the interview. I mean, you can just tell the emotion that how much that meant. One, just to WVU, but just also college baseball. I mean, this is what makes college sports so great. It's moments like these.
It is. And look, pro ball, college ball, way different as far as the styles. What I mean by that is you don't see maybe the emotion. Some people don't like all of the emotion of college, but this is why it's college. This is why also it's fun to watch these matchups, the passion, the care, the schools, the communities that get behind these teams. And for this moment, people can rise to an occasion. And that's also why when people talk about going to Omaha and playing in the College World Series, there's this impact. It's where you go to. Yeah. Hell of a tournament so far. And I believe there's some teams that are going to be making history, right? It's going to be like Little Rock and Troy. We're going to have an opportunity here.
Yeah, fun fact. Saw this out on the Twitter sphere and had to go confirm for the first time in history. Not a single of the team of the 8 that made it to the College World Series the previous year have made it to the Super Regional the following year. So all 8 teams that made it to the College World Series last year, not a single one is still alive, which is, hey, talk about parity, talk about someone's got to win it. And I mean, like you said, top teams like UCLA getting bounced. It's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a really fun ride.
This shit is bananas, man. BANANAS. On another note, I don't know if this shit's bananas, but this has been a loud topic in the media world in baseball now moving forward. And probably some of you don't know, so maybe it's not as hot, but it's been blowing up my feed in Major League Baseball. And it's not the Jesus Sanchez play. It's actually what happened with the Pirates. And I don't know if you guys have been following Carmen Malinsky, starting pitcher, been in the rotation. And then, the reports, because they have a really good amount of options out there with the Pittsburgh Pirates, that Carmen's supposed to move to the bullpen. He made some comments after the game or to the media saying, I'm going to talk to my agent. We'll see what the best way to move forward. And then the Pirates put him on the restricted list. We're going to put him on the restricted list. And I think I would love to know more of the context of the media being more up in arms. But so apparently Carmen was going to be available to all media members. And the Pirates were going to take Carmen off the restricted list or just talk about the situation. And all of a sudden, I guess, one of the writers associated with the Pittsburgh Pirates got to talk to Carmen first. And that story broke and people were pissed, Zach. I mean, floored about it. And I guess there has to be some sort of, how people report media is why people are pissed off about this. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah. So pretty much the big thing is when a guy makes a comment like that then becomes a story because he's kind of I don't want to say putting himself above the team, but putting himself above the team, saying, not just, I want to do what's best for this team. I want to do what's best for myself. He's saying, hey, I'm going to talk to my agent. Yeah, no, I'm talking to people about this. Like, I don't know. And kind of insinuating that, then the drama unfolds. They're like, hey, we're going to let him talk to media the next day so that everyone, he can clear the air, all this. And then people aren't happy because, well, it's kind of like a propaganda piece. This is not something where it feels like it's journalism. this feels like PR. And that's what people are upset about. It's not the fact that the story that they're talking about it. It's the fact that the Pittsburgh Pirates own writer suddenly got the whole 24 hours ahead of time his own one-on-one interview where there weren't really the toughest questions asked. And honestly, it was more of Carmen saying, oh, I want to do what's best to help this team win, yada, 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 kind of backtracking on things. But there wasn't the media there. There wasn't the follow-up questions. Have you talked to your agent? Have you done this? What is your family? That kind of thing. And people are just more upset about the sheer fact of, hey, this isn't what it's supposed to be about. We want to know what's really happening. And instead you are now taking that, not only taking that away from us, but almost acting like we're stupid and being like, oh no, here's the journalistic piece. Here is the report on it. Everything that we finely tuned and looked over 7 times to make sure that it doesn't make us look bad. So that's where people are upset. And nothing against Jason Mackey, who is the Pirates insider. A bunch of people have put this out. It has nothing to do with him. Heck, if he's given that opportunity to go talk about and interview probably the biggest story in Pittsburgh right now, why wouldn't you do it? But it's the optics of it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the other part. I know everyone wants the fair shake, but only one person at times. It's either everyone gets the fair shake or has the opportunity at one moment, or it's going to be one writer, in this case. I think the bigger part is I believe Carmen is going to be made available, Zach, today or tomorrow. If he's not made available at all, I don't think that that's fair to the rest of the media, because in this case, and this is what we say with players all the time, if you get put in a position of things happening, the best thing you can do is you get in front of it and you go, all right, I got to own up and talk about this. And he'll probably give a lot of the same answers if we're being completely honest. He'll probably say, I shouldn't have said what I said. I was frustrated. Of course, I want to be a starter, but I care about this team. Like, he's going to say all the right things. But it feels like if they don't get that opportunity, then that's going to even be worse. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't floor me as much as maybe some others, so long as the rest of the media gets their shake at this. If they don't, that is a problem then, because it is a hot story and the rest of the media group deserves that. But I think they're more pissed off that it was supposed to be given to everyone. It was announced, hey, on Tuesday, we're going to the media is going to be able to talk. And when that information was put out, then the story got dropped. And that's where the combination of being pissed off and frustrated with the communication, as we're finding out here, right? Communication is key. Communication's key. Don't you want to know what's going on? Don't you want to know what's happening here? And speaking of communication, we're going to have communication here with Jim Schwartz, former Browns defensive coordinator, head coach there with the Detroit Lions, and he's been around in so many different places. Marylander, went to St. Joe. I mean, did St. Joe whoop up on the Dons? Probably. Sounds about right.
What year did he go there? I would actually love to see.
I mean, he's 60.
Well, yeah. I mean,
wait a minute. Is it his birthday today? Is it his 60th birthday today?
Yes.
No freaking way.
Yeah, June. He was born June 2nd, 1996.
I was looking this up and I'm like, yeah, he's 60. Checking the date, and it actually says 60 like days, and then it would have like the year and then the days along with it. And it says 60 and then 000 000. Yeah, the 3 zeros behind it for the amount of days in the year.
Yeah, no, just looked it up. His birthday is June 2nd, 1966.
No freaking way. Now I'm going to have to talk. I literally just talked to him earlier. Didn't know that. Now I feel like an asshole. But yes, I think that everyone whooped up on the Dons, just to be honest here. We will talk a little bit.
Not in football. Back in the heyday,
yeah,
we were whooping ass back then.
Hey, we could probably talk to Jim about baseball. He is a big Orioles fan. huge Orioles fan. We're talking already about the season and all the moments prior in this situation. So that'll be fun. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Before we get to this interview with Jim, why don't we go from one stream, Zach, to another? Hey, now, look at that handsome fellow. And that is the Ryan Ripken Show double play promotion there at AutoStream. And look, it's not a matter of if you have a car problem, it's a when. And when you do, go see our friends at AutoStream that can help you with any car service. But the double play promotion is 2 oil changes for the price of 1. You get 2 for $99.99. Just mention my name. Go check out the 11 locations and counting around Maryland. We appreciate our friends up at AutoStream Car Care Center. So from one stream, Zach, back to this one. Yeah, and we're in full in baseball season there. And AutoStream, we might be having a giveaway opportunity here leading into the midsummer months. Is it technically July's midsummer?
Yeah, July's midsummer.
And we've established that people think Memorial Day after Memorial Day is summer starts.
Yeah.
But if we're going to get really technical, summer solstice is June 21st.
Yeah, I don't go by that.
I'm just saying what
if it's June, that's summer. And it does, which of course today, when it was like up until a few hours ago, it was still like 60 degrees here. So it didn't feel like June, but
yeah,
the calendar says it is at least.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with that. Right now, it doesn't feel like June out there. And I'm not hating that. It's like a beautiful day in April. But then when we want it to get warmer, it will get exponentially hotter. And then it's going to be like 98 and muggy. And you're going to feel like you're down in Charleston, South Carolina. But I digress here. I can't tell if Jim's here because I can't see his face. So maybe he's not.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. We'll find out in a little bit. I'll text him if I don't hear from him in a moment. Other news. Jackson Holiday is not in the lineup tonight, by the way.
Yeah, makes
Sammy
sense.
Basayo is.
Good.
Blaze Alexander is. Kobe Mayo is. And Russell Wilson, Zach. Just seeing that. Russell Wilson's on the lineup, but he's in the new CBS analyst lineup. No?
Well, yeah, I see that now, but I was very
He's a baseball player.
Yeah, what, draft by the Rangers?
Well,
I'm trying to think what
Rockies 4th round.
When did, because he kept going to different camps and they got traded to the Yankees. Remember? Let me look this up.
And while you're looking it up, we can also see when Russell Wilson's birthday is.
Yeah, got to double check everything. November 29th.
Oh, okay, good. So we didn't miss that one. Perfect. Sorry, I'm just checking. We're checking.
Oh my God, that's so embarrassing.
What?
Well, I should have known this. He was drafted by the Orioles first, and then I always forget. Then he was by the Rockies. Then he was traded. Traded.
Okay.
So yeah, the Rangers selected him in the Rule 5 draft.
Hey, there's some other. What are some other players that are football players? Tom Brady, AJ Brown, apparently. A lot of people didn't realize AJ Brown was drafted. It didn't end up going to play. How about Jordan Adams playing and going back to college?
Just going to bring up. That's going to be. I don't know how I feel about that still, but I feel like we can open up a whole different. Yeah, Kyler Murray's a big one. The Athletics have made it known as well to Kyler, apparently.
He wants to come back.
Yeah, they said, well, you want to come back? You have
well, they invested a pick in him.
The 7th overall pick. Not just a pick. I will never forget that when he was drafted, and he was obviously the quarterback at Oklahoma. And it was like, yeah, the Athletics are going to let him play out his final year. He really wants to do that. And he was not going in like a top-rated guy. He was like, yeah, he's going to do that, finish out his college career, and then he's going to go play for the Athletics. And then he becomes the number 1 overall pick.
Can't make it up, man.
Some athletes, man.
I don't think was Mahomes drafted.
I don't know. just randomly, not about this, but AJ Brown just referred to New England as, I know this ain't heaven, but it's close to it.
Surely that's not going to have some conversation. The other crazy thing with all of the NFL news and all of the talk around sports, the NBA finals are tomorrow. And I wouldn't have known that after what just has been going on the last 2 days. Like, being a sports fan, of course I realized it, but the amount of attention that's going around that the Spurs and the Knicks are about to face off, and it's the Knicks' first time playing the finals in feels like 84 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And NBA finals, I mean, God, we've been in the playoffs for like 2 months now at this point. But yeah, finals finally starting up. That's going to be, man. Just takes forever. I do just love watching women. I was talking about this, and then we can go on. Victor Wembanyama is the most fun player to watch when he's dominating. Like Steph Curry, like obviously when he's on and he's just shooting it from, mid-court. But there's something about a 7'4" guy who just
there's something about it.
Just stands and dunks when he dominates. I'm just like, that's so much fun to watch. I just love it.
You don't remember watching like Yao Ming or Shaq?
Yeah, but Yao Ming and Shaq pulling from the logo and hitting nothing but net. I mean,
I'm just saying, there's maybe a different.
Not just the height.
I would say Yao Ming was the height, but like dominance, Shaq in his prime was.
Oh yeah.
You're saying like do you remember?
Yes,
Shaq
but what
in
I'm
his prime?
saying is
no, you don't.
What I'm saying is at their dominance, he is the most fun to watch because he'll pull from the logo and then he'll decide to just jump from the free throw line and don't, like, it's just free.
I do love watching him. I love the time and age where Shaq just absolutely manhandled grown ass men. Like it wasn't a competition, but I digress. I think we found it out. Jim, are you ready? Can I give you a thumbs up if you're ready? Or you give me a thumbs up? Yeah, you give me a thumbs up. I got a bone to pick with you now in a second here, but let's bring on defensive coordinator, former head coach, and Marylander, Jim Schwartz. Jim, can you hear me?
I got you.
Hey, dude, it's your birthday?
Oh, yeah.
It's your 60th birthday.
I tell people 70. I age up. That way people tell me I look good.
So here's the thing is we're looking up the years you were in Detroit, right? And so while I'm looking that up, because also today's anniversary is the Armando Galarraga perfect game. If you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
16
I was
years
watching
ago.
That one. Yeah.
It was in Detroit.
Yeah, I was watching it on TV.
We were reminiscing about that. And I was going, man, I think you were there during that time. And then I go to your page and there's your birthday. Happy 60th. Damn.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, that game, we were watching it, and my girls were real young at the time, and we watched that last play, and my girls didn't know nothing about baseball watching. It's like, but Dad, he was out. And that was their first introduction to not all calls go your way.
And that's, it's a great lesson in life, except now it's supposed to be the calls going your way in baseball.
Yeah,
except they still haven't figured that one out.
Yeah, that sucks for that guy that, in today's game, he's got that perfect game. And perfect games are so, it wasn't just a no-hitter, a perfect game. And, maybe it's lived a little bit more and it's been a little more famous just because of that. Maybe it sort of gets glossed over and forgotten if it was just a complete game. But, yeah, that had to hurt at the time.
Shut up, Zach. Don't say a word.
Thank you, Jim.
There.
I was trying to explain to him earlier that him being called safe actually made it more famous. So thank you for that.
No, it wasn't about famous.
That's what I was saying.
It was saying, would it be remembered? And I was saying a perfect game will always be remembered. But yes, I get the point. All right, that's not the point here. Jim, you're a big baseball guy. I don't think people really know that. And you're like a full Marylander. So before we get into like the baseball and the football stuff, we got a Greyhound in here. We got a Don and a Gale, right? Mount St. Joe is the Gale.
Mount St. Joe, yeah.
So did Mount St. Joe just whoop up on the Dons? They would never whoop up on the Hounds.
Um, no, we weren't very good when I was there.
That checks
You
out.
know,
Makes sense.
we could beat up like Archbishop Curley and maybe Cardinal Gibbons. I don't even know if those schools are still in operation, but yeah, I don't think we lost to Loyola. I think it was a guy named McGonigal, and dude was a great lacrosse player and everything else, and he just took the game over. He was like, they were just throwing jump balls to him, and he was taking the ball away from our DBs, and it was literally like a one-man show, and we lost to Loyola that way. I don't remember the Gilman results, but yeah, St. Joe was down a little bit then, sort of circled back right after that, and won the MSA a couple times, but not when I was there.
Well, I was hoping that you'd say you whoop up on Loyola. Gilman whooped up on the Dons. I can guarantee you that. But baseball, we were going down a rabbit hole earlier with all of this, and you're a huge Baltimore guy. So for those that don't know a little bit of your journey, obviously you've been a NFL coach for decades, coaching career, even starting back in Maryland. But your love for the Orioles, man, talk about how much and how closely you're watching this, because I got to say, it did throw me off guard initially when you were talking about this last game with Trevor Rogers and the system, and we're throwing it back 10 years. And correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, even when you were studying for Sundays, you still had your eyes on the birds.
Yeah, I've been a fan. The earliest I remember was probably 73. And my favorite player was a guy named Rich Coggins, who played right field for the Orioles. The first game I ever went to, the Orioles won 5-0. We were sitting down the third base side, and I got to sit there and watch Brooks Robinson on every play. I still got a scorecard one time. I went to a game, and Jim Palmer threw a one-hitter. And I was that kid that used to listen to Chuck Thompson and Bill O'Donnell on the radio, and I had a notebook, and I would keep score. And we didn't have the books that you have now. You used a ruler and made the 9 innings and listened to the radio and keep score. So it's been a big part of my life for as long as I can remember. I was a big Baltimore Colts fan. Burt Jones and Lydell Mitchell and Roger Carr was my wheelhouse. And Orioles go back to the Jim Palmer, Brooks Robinson, Paul Blair, those kind of guys. But yeah, thanks to the MLB app and now the Masson app, I can, no matter where I am in the country, I can keep tabs, and when I'm off, which now I am, I can, I very rarely miss a game, very rarely miss a pitch. And I've seen just so much that have gone through. I was telling you earlier, I'd have the games on my iPad as I was sitting there watching pro games, NFL games, getting ready for games. And, you'd listen to the play by play and, look over at certain times, just sort of keeping up. And one of my strongest memories, I was in Buffalo, 2014, and we are getting ready for a game, and Orioles were playing that playoff game. And Delman Young got up, and I'd been in Detroit with Delman, and I knew what kind of player he was, and he was coming out of the batter's box swinging. So instead of just listening and seeing what was happening, I turned my eyes and was watching. It's like, okay, this is going to be something right here. And sure enough, he took that first pitch and just drilled that ball down, and we got to see JJ Hardy round those bases. And I swear, it seemed like there was like a sand timer timing him coming around the bases. But when he scored, I was jumping up in my office and cheering and everything else. People were coming down the office like trying to see what was going on, because it was the middle of a weekday. But I always managed to be able to stay up with them. I stuck with them through the good times, or through the bad times as well as the good times. One of my great memories, 1983, I was in high school, and the Orioles won in Chicago. And we were watching the game. Tito Landrum hit that home run. And we were listening and everything else. And we just decided, a bunch of us, that we were going down to BWI Airport and be there when the team came down. I took my little brother with me. He was like 10 years old. I think that was the first time he was drinking beer. He was standing on somebody's keg, and so he could see, and they were egging him on. But My whole life is probably filled with memories of listening to ball games on the radio, watching home team sports with Mel Proctor and John Lowenstein. Um, and just just it's been a big part of my life and continues to be.
Yeah, I could see having a good old time there. And I mean, it was, to put it bluntly, just it was the Delman play. I mean, Camden Yards, that place was freaking electric.
Yeah, I was
Shit was
as
wild.
excited. Yeah, as excited as the stadium was, I was doing the same thing in my office in Buffalo. So that was what was cool about it. You just sort of lived with it, and man, it's so exciting times. I look forward to more of those. Hopefully, we can get back to 500 here, and we can start playing up to our capabilities, and we can have some October days like that in the future.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It would. I would personally love that because I like when people are happier than more pissed off. I'm sure you're the same way. Losing sucks, and I think that people understand that. But also, I would argue, as much as people love the Ravens here in Baltimore, they're the deep rooted part of the Orioles. That's been a part of this city and this community, Maryland, for since 1954, if we're being that specific with it. So, yeah, there will be better days. I'm hopeful. Yeah, I'll be honest, a little bit weird that well, actually, it's not weird. I know you get to relax and you enjoy yourself. But I got to say, I told you this earlier, kind of thank God you're not going to be in Cleveland. I don't, if I have this correct with the numbers, the times playing with the Ravens, and Zach, maybe you can pull up the games at Cleveland that were ugly as hell. But if I'm not mistaken, over the years, the last 3 years, right? That's when you were in Cleveland. So 3 years, the Browns defense ranked number one. Zach, you ready for this? Defensive efficiency, expected points, total first downs allowed, total yards, yards per play, total passing yards, third down efficiency, fourth down efficiency, pressure rate, time pressure rate, tackle for losses, 3 and outs. And then they were second in sack rate, short yardage defense, number 4 in total DVOA. Top 10 in pass breakups and INTs, forced fumbles. Yeah, Jim, your defenses are pretty brutal right there. 45 consecutive games without allowing 300 passing yards. Next team was 23. NFL records 52. Yeah, dude, you guys stunk out there, man.
Yeah, we had a good run. Yeah, it was. I got to coach with a guy who actually used to work for the Baltimore Colts back in the Frank Kush days. But I was in Tennessee with Gunther Cunningham, great NFL coach. And he used to always talk things like, hey, look, anybody can do it for 1 year. Anybody can be a flash in the pan. He said the thing that he always valued was 3 years of consistency. So I always took a lot of pride in that. That because in 3 years the injuries are gonna sort of even out. You're gonna have to do it with a bunch of different guys. Your strength of schedule is going to even out all those different things. So yeah, we were super proud of of the defense we played when I was in Cleveland,
I mean, we'll get to one of
and
the
and
players.
having
Yeah,
to
go
do
ahead.
it, yeah, and having to do it against Lamar and Joe Burrow and whoever, Aaron Rodgers, like all those guys too. Tough division, to have to play defense in.
Yeah, I mean, and then also just the flurry of injuries that you have throughout an NFL season. And we'll get to the one player that also, while you're not in Cleveland anymore, one of the other big pieces in Cleveland no longer is there, as well as he was shipped out to LA to join the Rams. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about just, the tenure to end with Cleveland. Obviously, a lot of people that I've talked to and how they describe you is, you know, the reason why you have success, and just also my outsider's perspective. Yeah, you got to be able to coach. You got to have a good group of guys, but you also got to have a continuity with that group, a connection. And I know you had that with Cleveland, and I know that there was the rumblings outside of the decision where they went with Monken instead of giving you the opportunity to be the head coach. And there was a lot of just rumors out there about the whole situation. So do you mind just maybe just touching on that? Because I know it's a sensitive subject, but at the same time, I think it gives great context because it is a business, but you're also human, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sort of is what it was. We had a lot of success on defense, and the Browns made a change at head coach, and they passed over me with all the success that we had and the ability that to develop players. Our best players had their best years, all those different things. And that was the decision they made. They wanted to go with an offensive guy. They chose Todd. um, I'm fine with that. They can make, decisions that they want to make, but they can't expect me to stay on board for that. Anybody that's in any business, you get passed over for a promotion when you've done a really, really good job in your job, and you think you were in line for that promotion. It's time to go. And Todd deserved his own guy. He doesn't, I mean, a forced marriage isn't going to work in the NFL. And, like having command of the players and having command of the locker room, all those things are extremely important. And I didn't feel like I could do my job after getting passed over for the head coaching job. It sort of, just put me in a tough position. Hey, we want you to listen to this guy, but we didn't think we didn't want to make him the head coach. So I made the decision to resign, and I have to sit out this year as a result. But I think anybody that's been in any business, when you've done a good job, when you mentioned those numbers, we weren't one of the best defenses in 3 years. We were the best defense in 3 years. And the decision they made, that's their decision. But to expect me to stay and to be on board for that, that's just a tough situation. And it wouldn't have been good for me, and it wouldn't have been good for Todd. So it was best for him to get his own guy in there and to move forward with him, as opposed to just having an arranged marriage and having me there and maybe having some players more loyal to me than him. It can just be a bad situation. 33 years in the NFL, I'd never been around that before. So that all went into decision. I wasn't upset about it. I was disappointed about it. I wasn't upset about it. I wasn't mad about it. But it's just my experience told me that wasn't going to be a situation that was going to work.
And that's the business side of it. And, that's the intricacies where you're recognizing, a group where the last 3 years in Cleveland, you guys were building something special specifically on the defensive side, right? You can't argue that. And Zach, did some of those games, I hated when the Ravens went to Cleveland. I hated it. You guys stopped Derrick Henry. I think held him to probably the lowest total I've ever seen in Baltimore last year here. But the point is, if things were to go wrong in a season, it's sports, right? Things go wrong. No doubt it probably would have been a talking point between you and with Todd. And I don't think that that's fair to either of you, to be honest. And, I don't know if I told you this, Jim, in different ways where it's hard, and maybe I can relate just from stories. Cal Sr., my grandfather, first time he got an opportunity was not at the time where it was maybe at the best. It was at a different time, and he only got a run of 6 games. And that messed with a lot of the guys on that staff. Actually, they fired my grandfather, and the Orioles went on to lose the next 15 games in a row. I don't know if you remember that start. 0-21.
I was a freshman in college. Oh yeah, I lived that.
Yeah, good times. And my dad, of all those people too, it was that was a tough one. And it was more than just from the outside of, we make changes, things are going to fix. There's the human element to the game. And I think just talking to you thought about this very diligently, and I think also from the outside, people don't get that on the inside of it. And, we've talked to Todd before, happy for him. But
Yeah,
I'd be lying if I
Todd's a
said
good
if I was,
dude.
I was saying I'd be lying if I said if you would have gotten the job, I'd be extremely happy for you.
Yeah, and I'm sure Todd would have been too. Like, oh
Yeah,
no, I mean, it had nothing. I'm rooting for him. I think
yeah.
he's a good dude. Actually, first met him at the airport in BWI. I was flying through and saw him and talked to him and everything else. It's just like arranged marriages don't work, and it's just it's better for both parties. It's better for everybody for it to be that way. Proud of what we did there, and obviously still have a lot of guys there, a lot of my assistant coaches, a lot of players, and still rooting for them.
Well, you got one less player there, by the way. He's a pretty big name. He's also a gigantic human being in Myles Garrett. So I kind of want to hit it from different angles here. We can talk about Myles, but then also, since we don't have to deal with a Jim Schwartz led defense in 2026 to stop the Ravens, I'd love to hear then the preparation for going against guys like Lamar and Joe Burrow, because you're right, those are two of the most explosive offenses, but different ways that you defend. But let's talk about the superstar that you had in Myles Garrett. How would you describe him? Not from the sense we know the talent, right? He now holds the record for sacks in NFL history for a season. He's a force of nature. For those that don't know, what was your take seeing him on the day-to-day that you think people should know about him?
Yeah, one of the most gifted players I think that's ever played in the NFL. I've been 33 years in the NFL, and I've coached a lot of all pros and guys that are Hall of Famers and everything else. But two guys that stand out the most are Calvin Johnson and Myles Garrett. And both of them were so big, and they did things that big guys shouldn't be able to do. Calvin's 6'5", 235, ran 4.3 something, vertical 44, could make cuts like a small guy, first in every drill, just like every minute of every day he was competing. Miles the same way, 6'4.5", 280 pounds. And, he looks like one of those DBs, as far as being ripped, not an ounce of fat on him. He can bend. That's the biggest thing. He can bend going full speed better than any player I've ever seen. Um, so it was a challenge actually practicing with him because he could destroy the offense so much that the offense would have a hard time like completing plays in practice. He just completely changed the game. So both of these guys had this in common. Both of those guys, every single game plan started with, we're not going to let Calvin Johnson beat us. We're not going to let Myles Garrett beat us. We're going to force you to beat us some other way, but we're going to take those guys out of the equation. Both of those guys still had not just success, but ridiculous success when they were marked all the time. It's easy to have success if you're not the guy they're expecting to make the plays. But when the whole game plan is to stop Myles Garrett and he can still set the NFL record, that tells you how special a player he is. When Calvin Johnson, when every game started with, we're going to double him, we're going to roll to him, we're not going to let Calvin Johnson take this game over, and he sets the all-time NFL record for yards in a season with that kind of mark on him. That just tells you how special both of those guys are. I'm very, very privileged to have coached both of those guys.
And you were there for both of their record-breaking seasons, right?
Yeah, with Calvin and it's funny with Calvin. Calvin broke the record. He broke Jerry Rice's record, and we had Jerry Rice on the sideline. Calvin's parents were on the sideline. We were going to have a thing where he was going to hand the ball to Jerry Rice, or Jerry Rice was going to hand him the ball. They were going to take it over to him. And the officials, because it was during a 2-minute, it was a pass out of bounds, and the clock was stopped, but they wound the 40-second clock. And it completely, like, we weren't able to have the little ceremony. And, it's like, hey, this wasn't like a game record or a personal record. This is the history of the NFL record. I think we can take a little time to to celebrate the moment and everything else. Well, I talked to the officials before every game at the end of the season last year and just said, "Hey, look, if Miles breaks this record, like we're going to celebrate it." And those guys were all for it, and it didn't affect the game, but the players picked him up on their shoulders. It's an iconic picture for the Cleveland Browns. He sets the record, and players got him off to the sideline, picked him up on the shoulders, and carried him off the field. You could tell how much they were rooting for him, um, to to set that record, and he got it against Joe Burrow, who he's had a lot of sacks against. You mentioned Burrow, Lamar Jackson, two tough customers to have to defend, but having a guy like Miles Garrett, obviously can make it a little bit easier. But one of the reasons we had a little bit of success against Lamar is we took the approach of we weren't going to let him use his legs. And I think in those 3 years, in those 6 games, he averaged about 30 yards a game with his legs, whether it's design quarterback runs or scrambles. And we said, look, you're going to have to beat us some other way. It's not going to be that. And we just schemed our rushes and our second level defenders to take his legs away and say, do it a different way. Joe Burrow was completely different because the ball was coming out so quick that you had to defend the pass first, and you really didn't have to worry about his legs. It was the timing of the pass, and we played Joe Burrow in those 3 years better than anybody in the NFL over those seasons because we had good rushers and good cover guys. And when you take his first look away, all of a sudden guys like Miles putting the clock on the quarterback, and he's got to get rid of the ball or he's going to take a hit. And that's sort of what happened in that record-setting sack late in the season. We were getting close now, Ryan. It was 10 minutes left in that game, and he
Mhm.
still didn't have that sack. And if he didn't get a sack in in that series, I was getting ready to tell him on the sideline, "Hey, look, I don't care if you're offsides 10 times in a row. Jump the snap count every single time we're getting this sack." And fortunately, we didn't need to do that. He just made it on his own. But it was an incredible moment. It was an incredible moment with Calvin, and it's really surprised me that nobody's broken Calvin since. Passing game is so prolific. Quarterbacks are so good. The rules keep making it easier to pass the ball. They've added another game, but nobody has surpassed that. And like I said, he was a marked man every single game. We didn't have much of a run game. He, of course, had Stafford throwing to him, which made it a little bit easier. But yeah, that was always tough. When you go against Lamar, you have to take the approach of don't let him beat you with his legs. And I thought we did a pretty good job of doing that and limiting his explosiveness. And you also have to prepare your players, you know, starting off the week on Wednesday when we're preparing. I told him it's like, look, once or twice, maybe 3 times in this game, Lamar is going to make a play that's just stupid, right? Like it's just going to be, he's going to like you're going to have an extra guy. He's going to make him miss. He's going to do something he shouldn't do, and he's going to make a big play. And you can't let that get you down. You just got to tip your cap, and you got to move on to the next play. So you had to have that mentality when you played him because you couldn't scheme. You can't scheme a player like Lamar. You can have. When I was in Philly, we blitzed him one time. It was early in his career. We have a guy that's unblocked to the quarterback. He stepped up, made the guy miss, threw a touchdown pass. And you're looking as a defense coordinator, it's like, wow, I did everything right, schemed it perfectly, had a free runner. He you just can't tackle him one on one and gave up a touchdown pass. So you just learn to tip your cap on plays like that and move on to the next play. If you don't, if you let that play affect you, he's gonna hang 40 on you. And you just need to be able to have a short memory and move on to the next play.
Yeah, I think the only way was it the only touchdown in Cleveland last year? Was it the Mark Andrews fake on fourth? Was that it
Yeah.
last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were loaded up for the sneak because Mark Andrews would come in and sneak, and we had one guy take a bad step, and he's the guy that has the quarterback. and Mark outran him. I think that was the fastest Mark Andrews ran in his career.
That is
They,
correct.
they have those chips on the shoulders and everything else. Yeah, that was fourth. That was fourth down play. We were loaded up because they were so good running that push sneak that we were vulnerable a little bit on the edge. But you gotta. One of the reasons you mentioned our stats before. One of the reasons we were such a good short yardage team, such a good fourth down team, is we took away the easiest plays and tried to make you go sideways. Nobody wants to go sideways on fourth down, but the
Yeah.
Ravens did right there. We just took one bad step and paid for it with a touchdown.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Marky Mark was moving there. That was a highlight. People thought he lost a step, but by the
Not that big.
stats, Marky was moving, man. He was absolutely moving. Yeah, you guys had been great at fourth down stops. I mean, the other one, you had that against the Steelers, which was a great gift for the Ravens until it wasn't.
Yeah, I got a lot of calls from the people in Baltimore. Jimmy Seafood sent me a nice pack of crab cakes. Because obviously that put Baltimore right back in it to be able to go. They didn't make much of it, but yeah, we were able to hold Aaron Rodgers without a touchdown in that game.
Yeah, in the future, Jim, I'm gonna have to have you come back on and talk shop about the state of the Orioles because you are as dialed in as we are. I would love to understand more of the defensive side. I'm not going to act like I understand your schemes or how things are, but I can nod my head. But you can enlighten me as we go here. Maybe when it's not on your 60th birthday, but maybe to close this out, we're doing things with CQ. It's one of our proud partners here, and we always love to give some fun moments and questions. And when you're growing up, then, okay, if you're a Marylander, did you have a favorite local spot or staycation that you and your family went to? Or on top of it now as an adult, it's weird that you're saying being 70. Usually I feel like people want to say they're younger than they are. That's not your case.
No, you overage. That way you look good.
Okay. Well, you're one of one on that. I'll give you that. So, local spot growing up that if you wanted to get away when you were in Maryland and just enjoy yourself. And then now, I think I know what your dream or summer vacations, no strings attached. Where would you love to go if you have the opportunity? It sounds like you're going to have the opportunity this year.
All right. So when I was a kid, our vacation was usually camping. But we camped this place called Shad Landing, which was right near Ocean City. And boy, we look forward to that every single year. Rode our bikes every day, fishing in the pond, took boats out. Yeah, that was our vacation. And once every 4 years, had saved enough money that we went to Disney World, and we drove the family truckster down and stayed in their campground down there. And those are great sports family memories. I tell you, my favorite spot when I was out of high school and then in college, I was a big Hammerjacks regular back in the day, the 80s heavy metal, the 90s heavy metal. Saw a million bands there. That was our hangout spot. And all the different bands that rolled through there. That was like sort of the height of the hair metal 90s. And when I was home from college in the summer and vacations and stuff like that, me and my friends were probably there, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. That was just a local hangout spot, which is right where Raven Stadium is now. But yeah, a lot of memories there. I as far as like things I do now, I have a house over on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. I love to fish. Hoping the wind dies down a little bit. I'm going to get out today, and I got a good spot that I can run into some rockfish, play a little bit of golf. We have our spot in Nashville, so move around. I have a son that lives in Baltimore, so it gives us a good chance to get back and see some Oriole games and things like that. But I've been 33 years in the NFL and have never really had an extended period off where I could travel and do some of those things. So in the fall, my wife and I are probably going to maybe see what Italy's all about, or somewhere else in the Mediterranean. And sort of take advantage of this year off and not just refresh the batteries, but also be able to do some things that the lifestyle really hasn't afforded, or been able to afford just from a time standpoint over the years.
You answered that beautifully, because you answered the part of when we're younger and we're budgeting, but you can still have one hell of a time. And as you get older, and I think you've earned it. You've earned the time that you want, and now you can go experience that the way that you want. And Jim, I appreciate you. Definitely in the future. Okay, this is what we're gonna do next time, because I told Zach about you're pulling back up the Royals bullpen from 2014 or 15. So next time we're going to have to just have a state of the Orioles with Jim Schwartz. That's going to be the goal.
Yeah, we can stay away from football. I can go a lot farther in baseball and analytics and the whole thing.
Well, we can do that, and then you can teach me a little bit about certain things in football that I don't know shit about. But I'm learning, okay? I'm learning in this process, all right? So, I appreciate it. Happy birthday, which so nonchalant, man. I can't get over that. I literally was talking to you for a while, not one mention of this. And now I'm like, well, we could have picked a different day, but Jim, I appreciate
I got
you,
a dozen crabs coming. I got some rockfish in the refrigerator that needs to get cooked. So we'll have a good time celebrating. And I guess at this point I don't make much of a deal. 60 sort of a thing, I guess, but just a day for me.
It's the day. It's gonna hang out, fish, eat some crabs. Anytime you're up there and you want to invite me down, I'd appreciate it. I'll help you in that endeavor. So, all right, Jim, I appreciate you. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Yeah, big fan of the show. So appreciate you having me.
Thanks, Jim. Have a great rest of your birthday and enjoy your time off. Well deserved. See you, Jim. Jim Schwartz, everybody. Yeah, no, we might have him on as a baseball analyst. I shit you not. I shit you not. We could go down the rabbit hole with all of it with him. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. The reason why we want to try to give you guys insights behind this, and also we have a lot of great people from Maryland, by the way. We got a ton. And for Jim, I still can't believe it's been over 3 decades. And I guess that makes sense when you look at the time and the effort that you put in to get to where you want to go. But also, it's cool to see then the evolution of where you can go. And for me, it's even a reminder, hey, you got to keep working. You love something, you're passionate about something, you keep working at it. And as Jim was alluding to, he made a decision, by the way, to resign and sit out a year. That's a hard thing to do. And I want to at least say to finish with that interview is Jim handled that whole situation with grace, and talk about how many times in work or in life you can be frustrated because for all purposes, and we love Todd, friend of the show, when you're there and you build up a camaraderie with a group, that is disappointing if you're not the one that's getting that opportunity. But how you handle yourself next, I think, says not just volumes about, what's going on, but about the person, about how you handle things. And it's a good reminder, how you handle things is important. Communication is how we started off introing Jim. Communication and relationships. That's the reason why you stay around. That's the reason why you can be doing something for such a long period of time. And you also have to be pretty damn good at it. And I appreciate it, at least for this year, Jim. Thank you for not being in the AFC North. When you come back, if you want to come back to football, if he's got that itch, what do we think? Out to Green Bay,
LA. Get the band back together.
If Aaron Donald comes back,
God, we got to stop talking about that. I've refused to stop. We have to stop putting that in the air because apparently Pat McAfee texted him and was like, hey, is this an actual possibility? And he responded with, I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't thinking about it. And like I said, as a football fan, fantastic. As someone who does know that the Ravens, like, let's be real with Lamar Jackson and like salary cap, all that stuff, like windows aren't forever. And now, like, if we have Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett out there, that seems like maybe another year where the NFC West might be holding the Lombardi. So, selfishly, gonna need Aaron Donald to maybe sit this year out and then run it back at age 36.
Yeah, wouldn't be bad.
Because I would assume, and like this sucks because like I want to sit here and go, oh, well, if Aaron Donald came back, like, yeah, he'd be in a role player position. He'd probably be, kind of in a rotation, not playing every day. But like you see his workouts that he still does with NFL players, and like the NFL players are just beat and they're like, I can't do this. And he's still going. Like, it wouldn't shock me if he comes back at 35 and he's an almost every down player with Myles Garrett and puts up an all-pro season. Like, he's just that much of a freak athlete. I think that's why I'm scared. If it was 99% of other like future Hall of Famers that were coming back, he'd be like, this would be so fun. But Aaron Donald coming back seems like we're actually getting the Avengers together. It's just a little too close to me knowing that he's that damn in shape, because he is. Even I'm sure he would be like, oh, I'm not in playing shape. And like his not in playing shape is like everyone else's peak performance midseason. So that's why it scares me with Aaron Donald. Anyone else, I'd be like, oh, this is so fun. Aaron Donald, I'm like, this is a safety hazard for offenses.
And the other part here, by the way, Aaron Donald, the guy that was traded for Myles Garrett, Jared Verse, worked out with Aaron Donald.
Yeah. So he couldn't do it.
Just like, bro, you're on a different level. And this was when Donald was done. He's like, yeah, I'm done. And he's still kicking ass. I mean, Aaron Donald, Hall of Fame player, Myles Garrett, Hall of Fame player. You could argue that they're going to go down as the best, but I think it's just to be fair to the rest of all the great players out there. They'll be one of the best, and it's not that list is going to be that they're further down one of the best, Zach. Like Aaron Donald, arguably the best interior lineman of all time, defensive lineman, and Myles Garrett could go down again as one of the best, if not the best, pass rushing defensive
player. I'll say defensive player.
It's possible. And again, LT elite.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go around to all the different players, LT, Reggie White was there. I don't want to knock any other great players that were there. Like, people love Ray Lewis, love Ed Reed. Myles Garrett has the trajectory to be in that conversation. And I think that is what's crazy about it, is that even a 35-year-old Aaron Donald would be insane to me. I still think he's got the juice, but I would say from an entertainment point, I would want Aaron Donald to come back. But for the state of, if it's the Ravens trying to get to the Super Bowl this year in LA, that could be a challenge. But so much has to happen, Zach. That's why you got to play the games, dude. That's why you got to play the games. So,
yeah, I mean, if you combine their stats, Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett, I would love to see if this would be an NFL record for most combined sacks by two active teammates. If Aaron Donald comes back, because Myles Garrett, it would be a combined 136 or 236 and a half sacks between the two of them.
Damn.
So, like, it's just, I think people forget because we're now 2 years removed, like, just how good Aaron Donald had from the defensive tackle position, not rushing off the edge, from the defensive tackle position, he had 20 and a half sacks in 2018. Like, that is so stupid. Like,
the amount of time they said that if he wasn't triple teamed.
And you would see, like, the screenshots are unreal. It's same with Myles Garrett. You would have guys left to go because they would prefer a free rusher over Aaron Donald not getting triple teamed.
If you look up his Pro Football Reference and the awards and accolades, it is hilariously impressive.
Yeah. 10-time Pro Bowl, 1-time Super Bowl champ, 8-time All-Pro, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, defensive 2-time Pro Football.
Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Let's even make it this case. He was All-Pro every year except one. And it was the only year then he also didn't play 14 or more games, but he was very durable, minus the 1 year in 2022 where he only played 11 games. Zach, he was an all-pro in that situation, all but his rookie year in 2022. He won 3 Defensive Players of the Year, and he had the other years where he didn't win it: 3rd place finish, 4th place finish, 5th place finish, 2nd place finish. That's insane.
I was curious because I love doing this, and it's such a hard job, and prospects, you never know what's going to happen. His production score, all that, unbelievable, but his prospect grade coming out of
it's going to be something stupidly low.
It was a 5.9, which projects him as a average backup or special teamer. And I mean, I would love to see his.
That was high school?
No. This was in the draft. This was the NFL draft.
Oh, the guy that ended up going in the first round?
Yeah. They said his weaknesses are his height, obviously. It's just so funny. It's like controlled by bigger, longer blockers, not a 2-gap player. He's a tweener. Like, you see all this stuff. And yeah, they had him by just off of the things as a 4th to 5th rounder, even though he went in the first. But their grade was a 4, probably the greatest defensive tackle of all time.
He's okay. It's all right. He's kind of built like you, Zach, 2 years ago. Same body types,
Exact same.
Well, we actually could ask our next guest about specifically seeing him face to face, and he could probably have a story or memory or 2 or 10 or 1,000 about it. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We appreciate you guys joining. We appreciate you, and we appreciate Zach.
CQ.
And our friends over at CQ, we just talked to Jim Schwartz about getting ready for the summer. Well, it is around the summertime right now. And with CQ, if you have a new or old auto care or auto car loan, you don't have to pay for the first 90 days. Now, you can't refinance the deal, but if you do a deal with CQ, 90 days, you don't have to make a first payment for a new or old auto car loan. If you got any questions, visit cqmd.org/auto for more information. CQ, proud sponsor of the Ryan Ripken Show, and they're federally insured by the NCUA. All right, Rob, if you're ready to roll, just give me a thumbs up in the back when you're ready to rock. Okay, he's ready to rock and roll. And we're sticking with a little Maryland theme because, yes, the context is that Rob played for the Rams. Now Rob is moving on to his next chapter, his post-playing career. But guess where he's from, Zach? From Maryland. So let's bring on former Ram. And now I think he's doing some work in the media space with Believe. Let's bring on Rob Havenstein. Rob, you there?
I'm right here. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I appreciate you joining. And it's Havenstein, right?
Havenstein, like Frankenstein.
Havenstein, Frankenstein. I even looked at the thing. I saw it.
Oh, believe me.
And I looked at the bottom. You know what? I'm going to go jump in the harbor now. This is unacceptable. But
believe me, you're not the only one who gets it wrong. So that's why I got the whole Havenstein, like Frankenstein thing. Wisconsin didn't actually ask me until my redshirt sophomore year about how to actually pronounce my name. So it had been about 2.5 years before they actually figured out how to pronounce my name.
Well, damn, I guess I don't feel as bad, but I still
No,
feel
you
pretty
shouldn't.
damn bad. Well, in this case, though, growing up in Baltimore, the last name Ripken, you'll be surprised. A lot of people will spell that name wrong. They'll pronounce it right. They'll spell it wrong. They'll spell
Sure.
it K-I-N. Yeah, but, I digress. Well, first off, congrats on a great career. You're moving forward. But for those that don't know about your backstory, Marylander, dude, did you go to Linganore? Is that correct?
Is correct. Yep. Went to Linganore from Mount Airy, Maryland.
So, I mean, give me some Maryland memories. Do we have any allegiances to any teams growing up? Were you an Oriole fan? Were you not a baseball fan?
Yeah, well, watched the Orioles. Wasn't a huge baseball fan. I actually stopped. I want to say in high school and
Yeah.
in middle school, started playing lacrosse.
Hmm.
But my love for Maryland runs deep. I got a lot of family still out there. Got a lot of great friends out there. And my parents were from Michigan originally, so my dad said he was a Lions fan. He only watched them on Thanksgiving, and that was the only football game on. So I'm pretty sure that was the only reason why. But in terms of allegiances, went to a bunch of Terps games. Obviously, I ended up going to Wisconsin, so I couldn't have been that big of a fan, but had a great time at the stadium regardless.
Well, at that point, right, you go to the places that give you the best opportunity. I just
Mhm.
love when you throw around names and places in Maryland. You can go down a rabbit hole. That's what Jim Schwartz. If you didn't know, Jim went to Mount St. Joe in Baltimore, and then he was talking about the Eastern Shore. He was talking about the Orioles. He's helping me for my job this weekend, Zach, for calling games. I could just call Jim because he's got all the stats on the Orioles and what's going on. So, I gotta to give more of the backstory, at least for people in your next career. Talk to us a little bit about what you're planning to do in the media space, specifically with Believe.
Yeah, so I joined Believe in Rams as a co-host with my co-host Aaron, and just kind of dipping my toe in the water. Obviously I've for the last 11 years I've been playing right tackle for the LA Rams, so kind of moving on and kind of seeing what's next, see if we can't do anything fun with this, and just basically share my experiences as an 11-year right tackle in the NFL. And I think that's something that not a lot of people have or can say or want to know about. So plus I had ankle surgery, and so I know I was going to be kind of laid up for a while, and so it was something definitely to go ahead and start like I said, start dipping my toe in and kind of see where we go from that.
Does it feel like you were in the league for 11 years?
Man, it goes quick. Some of those years felt like 8 years wrapped into one. Some of those years felt like half a year. At the end of the day, when I wake up in the morning and I go to the bathroom for the first time, that walk across makes me realize that, yeah, I played for 11 years. So it goes quick. The days are long, the years are short, but man, it's the best job in the world.
Yeah, I mean, specifically when you have the opportunities that you earned, right, and then to see where you went and spending it also with one organization, I think is really special. I think it's unique, specifically nowadays.
Mhm.
Do you have for fun here? Before I got to ask you a little bit about what's going on with the Rams. Did
Big
you have
stuff.
a welcome to NFL moment at all? I mean, you've faced a lot of great players over time. Can you take me back in time to maybe a young Rob getting used to and acclimated in the league?
Yeah, I always tell this funny story. It was with Julius Peppers when he was playing for the Green Bay Packers. And so we're out there playing them in September, luckily, so it's not -12 out by any means. But it's a nice fall day, and I'm making sure I'm not doing anything to piss this guy off. But he's like talking to himself, and then like starts talking to me kind of crazy, like I'm the guy talking shit to him. I'm like, bro, like Mr. Peppers, I'm not saying anything to you, bro. And the football guys must have been looking at me for that day because I still remember this. Nick Foles was our quarterback. He hits me with the cleanest outside move of all time. I throw a punch. He absolutely times it. I whiff. As I'm turning around looking at him on a direct line to Nick Foles, he slips. And I was like, thank God, because he would have ripped his head off. Guy wasn't looking, or Nick was looking downfield to the left. And it was just one of those things that, I just got lucky on. But we ended up throwing a kind of a high red zone interception later. And that was kind of back before the crackback blocks were really started being officiated. And so we throw an interception. I'm a young guy, I'm head straight to the ball, no other awareness, but just see ball, get ball, tackle it, be the hero. And all of a sudden, the guy starts breaking down. I start breaking down. Next thing I know, I'm on my back looking up at the stars. And I just remember getting up and seeing Julius kind of jog past me, and from the reverberations from when he hit me to the top of my spine all the way down to like my toes, the whole thing just shifted and kind of went back and forth. And it was one of those like, I'm going to lay here for a hot second just to make sure everything's still kind of moving. We got fingers, toes, legs. Okay, got it. Don't mess with him. Got it. All right. Be as nice as possible to this guy. Try to get out of this thing alive. He was a different animal altogether.
Yeah, damn. Note to self: don't fuck with Julius Peppers if you don't have to.
That's good life advice right there.
I mean, but you know this in the trenches, right? You got to have. I mean, you guys are doing the dirty work in there, right? Like you guys are going, and it is contact every single time. And J.O. Jonathan Ogden, friend of ours, I mean, J.O. talked about you got to have a little screw loose yourself, or you got to be ready for it because it's just constant, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you dealt with it. You were in the NFL for a decade plus. Yeah, if you're there, you're gonna have to handle it and do it well. Did you ever have to have any specific moments with Myles Garrett then?
We played him a couple years ago in SoFi, and he's primarily a left side rusher, and so I was like, he ain't going over. And then the whole first half, he's over on the left side. We got a game for him. We're chipping him with a tight end, running back, slap to him. So he's, just kind of doing as much as we can to slow him down. And all of a sudden, we start the second half. I want to say the defense goes out and gets it over or something. We get down, and all of a sudden, I see Myles on my side. First back from half, and I'm looking at him like, bro, what the hell are you doing? Like, you don't play over here. Go away. Like, this isn't going to be a second half. You just flip sides to try and see this is what you're going to do. Like, if you're not comfortable, I'd rather not have you over here. Like, go back over there. And luckily, it was like plays and we ran away from him or something like that, and everything was fine. But, man, that got the old ticker going there for a little bit. And being that he was just say, screw, bro, let's go try the right side right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to go against that guy on the other side. Hey, Rob, do you mind doing me a favor? I think something's a little bit off with the audio.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, do you mind leaving and coming back in? Sometimes that
Sure.
fixes it. Cool. Appreciate you.
That would get my heart pounding too.
I wouldn't like to go against him. Did you just hear Jim describe Myles Garrett?
I understand maybe because I didn't make it to the NFL that like I wouldn't get the mentality. I would, if I was the right tackle on Myles Garrett, I would call timeout myself. No, not happening. We're not doing that. That's what would have happened. I would have looked over, called timeout to my coaches and been like, if he lines up here again, we better have a tight end coming right here, and he's not going out for a pass.
We'll put a running back. Hell, we'll put a fullback on that side.
We better go sign Pat Ricard.
I mean,
here's
the thing too. Like I'm all about competing. I don't want to make no mistake. However, if a guy can blow my shit up, or in this case, make me look bad, that ain't going to be fun, especially when the advantage might be to him. But all right, Rob, I think we're back. We'll bring you back. Can you hear us?
I got you.
Oh, that's
Perfect.
Beautiful. Okay, so the end of that was Myles Garrett didn't ruin your life, so that was good.
Mm-hmm.
So you faced him though, and I think even that little story there talks about the impact. I mean, but dude, the Rams and Les Snead, fuck them picks. It's a real thing.
Oh yeah,
dude. How? First off, your reaction when you heard the news, and are you even shocked that this went down?
Yeah, I was definitely shocked a little bit. When I first saw it, I thought it was just one of those little fake media things. Then I looked up and I saw that Schefter tweeted it, and I was like, oh, this definitely has some legs. Let's go ahead and look into this. And I was like, oh, this is definitely happening. And but it doesn't surprise me with what the Rams have done in the past. They're number one, they like proven veteran guys, and obviously they trade away a very young, very good Jared Verse. But it's funny kind of how Les and Sean and all those guys in the offices are going about it. It's prepare for the future, but win now at the same time, which I'm all here for. I'm a big fan of the strategy, so I hope it works out great.
And I'm assuming you're a big fan of Matty Stafford.
Oh yeah, no, guy's a stud. Just because of the fact that he went to Georgia, the guy's a dog. He really is. He's tough. He wasn't even supposed to really play last year. He's dealing with the injury and everything, and all of a sudden, training camp practice, he's in there doing a little individual. Next thing you know, he's doing the whole practice when he was supposed to do 5 to 10 reps or something like that. And it's just, never complained, never nothing. He's first one in, first one out. He's doing the Breakfast Club, watching film. And what he can do with a football, just in the pure arm talent, is unreal. And he practices all that stuff too. So he knows what's needed in those big moments, and he is definitely not scared of that moment.
Oh yeah, he's proven it time and time again. I think that people didn't realize how great he was until coming to the Rams, which I don't think is fair to him because I thought he was pretty damn good on the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the circumstances, right? I mean, you guys, ever since McVay took over, been perennial contenders for the most part, almost year after year, or that's the aspiration, right? So, and then here comes Matthew Stafford, and then that run in, is it coming out at 21?
Mm-hmm. 21.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, then I still remember the throw in Tampa when it looked like Tom Brady was gonna, crazy shit was happening down that game in Tampa. Ooh. And then Matty throws that bomb to Cooper Kupp, who's balling out. Real quick perspective on that one. As a fan, I'm watching this and going, the Rams are so much better. And then all of a sudden, the game's tied. And I'm sitting there going, is Tom and the Bucs about to pull this shit off? In your mind, is that going through your head at all?
Maybe a little bit. maybe a little bit of doubt, but that's the old verbiage. You got to talk to yourself instead of listen to yourself. And the only reason, obviously we won the game, and so I can say is, I'm retired now. I can say pretty much anything I want now, and it's that game came down to just turnovers. We just kept giving the ball back. It's the most important stat besides points on the board. We had 3 fumbles or something like that. One where we had. We were going to close out a game, and just I want to say it was Ndamukong Suh reaches an arm out, strips the ball out, give it back to him. A couple plays later, they go score a touchdown. It's just one of those things. But it's no matter what happens in the past, it was and that was kind of the theme of that 21 team, especially when we got Vaughn in and all those guys, and it was like, all right, what's the next right thing that we can do? And apparently it was hit Cooper on a ball that is never thrown because the safeties always get enough depth where, we're throwing underneath and just, continuing to move it. But he doesn't. Cooper runs a great route, catches it, and then Matthew freaks out, yelling at I'm pretty sure our left guard to go get his ass set so we can spike this thing.
Hey, you know what? Great turn. That is the definition of the 2-minute drill right there. That's why you guys practice it, right? Get your ass up, get down there. And the rest was history. That was a unbelievable game. It was unbelievable just postseason, an unbelievable year for you all, which led to then the Donald ring me clip, right? That's what that was. Mm-hmm. And we were having this debate. Yeah, was that it? But go ahead.
Pretty sure that was it was the Niners, and then
the Bengals game. Is it then the Bengals game? He did the ring me, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of players that can be probably a pain in the ass to go against, we were having this debate with Donald. That I don't know how to properly describe that, dude. You saw him in person. How the hell do you stop him?
You don't. Yeah, you don't. There's anything Aaron wanted to do on a football field, he could do. If you left him alone and you didn't convert your whole offensive line. I heard rumors about the Cardinals. They were putting in like a running back chip on the 3 technique in training camp just because they knew they had to face this guy twice a year. Like, that's unheard of. Like, you're like, a running back will go chip a tackle on his way out to his little, check down route, but to check a 3 technique, like, it changed the game. And so if you didn't divert everything to this guy, he was going to make you pay every single time. He was that good. He worked too hard. He was too strong. Honestly, he was too small to really get a good punch on. Worked out to his, short, not small. He's freaking huge. But the best Aaron Donald story I ever got was right before the ring me celebration. It's fourth and whatever on the, the Bengals are going in, they've had a couple big plays. Aaron knew the slide was coming to him, and his only thought, he said this before, was, if I can beat the guard fast enough on the outside to where the center can't get there, I'm going I'm going to go make this sack. And lo and behold, he gets there so fast where he beats the guard on the outside, which if you're a guard with a, slide help to you, you can't get beat on the outside because your help's coming from the inside. So get beat to the inside where your help is. But it didn't matter. Aaron got there so dang fast, such good hands, used the tackle as leverage, turned the corner, got the sack, won a Super Bowl. I mean, it's just unbelievable stuff that guy could do on a football field.
There's the argument, and maybe I'm biased just from watching it, that he arguably is the best interior defensive lineman of all time. And I don't think that can be debated because it's sports, but
Sure.
I'm having a hard time going through it.
I agree with you.
I mean, what if people wanted to know about work ethic or in the NFL behind the scenes on this? And I think Zach has a follow-up, but the talent's there. What is something you watched at practice from him, from greatness?
From him, it was how he went about every single day, every single rep. He was never going to lose a walkthrough rep. Like if scout team O-lineman, young guy coming in was being a little too aggressive and kind of didn't let him finish past the quarterback on just a walkthrough.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to let that slide. It wasn't going to happen. He was going to win every single walkthrough because that's what he expected to do when it went live. And for the longest time, we treated him not like Aaron Donald during training camp. And, we were just playing, rules ball, they called it, and normal defense. And all of a sudden we got a lot of one-on-ones with Aaron, with one of our guards, and he's just eviscerating our guards. Not self-control. What's the word I'm thinking for? But like their whole mindset is just going nowhere because they're just getting beat 88% of the time, 98% of the time, almost 100. But I'm going to give a little shout out to our guards because, they're out there battling. And then all of a sudden, training camp, all of a sudden, one training camp, we were like, you know what? Screw this. We're going to treat Aaron like Aaron. So I want to say the first slide call we had in practice, we went, hey, we're going to go. We didn't even make a linebacker point. Said, hey, we're sliding to 99. And he dropped to a knee in a stance and looked in real quick. And he saw the slide come to him. And then we did it again. Hey, we're going to 99. Couldn't care less about secondary. And he, after second play, asked us, he was like, what are y'all doing right now? He was like, we're going to treat you like you. And he's like, no, that's not what you did, because, he was working his craft against our starting guys to win almost every single rep on a normal training camp. And now we were like, no, we're tired of you honestly wrecking practice, and we can't get the ball off or really run practice because you're back there one-on-one that nobody's going to let you do. So that was kind of a funny little thing that happened with Aaron.
I mean, you guys had such a great group, and I know we're talking about with Aaron, but credit to your O-line, credit to your whole squad. I mean, you guys have been consistently, dominant as an offensive unit, even though it doesn't always it seems like to me, the tale of great teams is you have the threat offensively, defensively, you can hurt teams in multiple ways. And I feel like that's just how the Rams have been. But yeah, when you have some great players and coaches and you're going against that each and every day, as the former athlete in me, I always love hearing that, just because I think some people, the talent's evident, but the other parts of what you do in practice, I think, gets overlooked. So for anyone out there that's listening about practice and reps, hey, the great ones are still doing it too. Zach, you have some follow-up question for Rob?
Yeah, Rob, actually, I wanted to talk about, we've talked about Aaron Donald and stuff, obviously. Just going back to 2021, we've talked about you spending your entire career with the Rams, and so many guys kind of bounce place to place, maybe towards the end of the career, trying to win a Super Bowl. What did it mean for you to spend all your time with one organization and reach that mountaintop? What was that emotion like when the final whistle blows and it kind of hits you that, hey, I'm a Super Bowl champion?
Man, I got to tell you, I kind of describe it like, a dog chasing a car. Like, what does a dog do when he finally chases the car? You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's a lot more emotion to that, but you've been going your whole career. Some guys go, 10 plus years without even sniffing a playoff. But then when that stopped happened and all we had to do was jog out there and take a knee, as soon as I went to go put my helmet on, I was bawling, like uncontrolled, sobbing. The whole time we're taking a knee, tears are just flying down my face. It felt like I wasn't crying because I was so happy, but it was just such an unbridled emotion that it came down to. Is like, man, this is, like you said, this is the top, this is the pinnacle, the top of the mountain. It was such an unbelievable moment, and for me to do it with one team, and honestly, sometimes I was probably luckier than I was good, in certain things that happened that allowed me to kind of, stick around for as long as I did. But I got a lot of love for the Rams. They treated me right. I hope they feel the same way about my time there. I did everything I could to try and maximize what was God given, and then try to add to it with any of the hard work that I put out there.
And with that journey with this, as we get into the final segments here, you are a Marylander. You come from a school which, being in Linganore, people from here, we had someone shout out rep in Linganore for being
That's
around.
right.
But I think in a day and age now where everyone feels they got to go to places to be seen. And for you and your journey to get to where you want to go, you have to put in the work and see how the chips may fall. Could you maybe explain a little bit of what your prospect status was going to Wisconsin and maybe that evolution? Because we could sit here and talk about the 11 years that you had and getting to this pinnacle, which I think is freaking awesome. I'm so happy you got to experience it. But I think the journey of how you got there, there's so many people that can look to you for the inspiration. So do you mind taking us back and
Sure.
that status from high school to college?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very interesting. Obviously it's my journey. Why wouldn't I? But, I was a 3-star recruit coming out, and probably only got that because of a guy named Zach Zwinak. Zach was the #1 fullback in the country. He was the type of guy to go to all these camps and just be like, well, this guy's a physical freak. He's strong. He's going to run fast. He's got the aggression already there. Heck of a runner, heck of a linebacker, can do anything he wants on a football field. And then it was like, coaches would come to see him. I'd be like, hey, you got anybody else? Like, yeah, Coach Connor, love Coach Connor to death. He would be like, yeah, I got a 6'8" guy. You want to go see him? Obviously wouldn't say it like that. Coach Connor's a much better salesman than that. But, flip on some tape, obviously getting some looks. But I got a lot of help from Zach. And so, got, people would come in and bring me down. And I want to say I was 275 my freshman year of high school. And then from there, I didn't really weigh myself for a while. It was, Coach Giusti would always be running the weigh-ins at camps. I want to say sophomore year through senior year, I just walk up the scale, tell them a number, and then walk away. And so it's kind of one of those things where, so when I got to college, I was 380 pounds. That was my first weigh-in at college. I thought I was 345 because that's what I weighed in over at the health club over there in Mount Airy. But the scale was not quite accurate once it got up to that level of weight. And so, that was a journey of its own. I got to drop 50 pounds to just even try and be at the upper echelon of being able to play college ball. So it's like, all right, then you got to go do that. And you got to try to rework your body. And, I'm still in that process now. And so it's, and then, when I get to Wisconsin, I have a knee injury, and then, I'm still way too fat. And so we're dealing with that. And then the whole thing of going to college in a different place. But man, it's been a journey. And plus, let alone, I didn't start playing football till 9th grade year. I started on the freshman team, learning how to play football. And, a lot of people were saying that, I was going to be well behind if I didn't go play, youth football. And, I think it kind of worked out on its own. But, it was a pretty unique thing. And I always wonder, especially with how college is now with the NIL and the transfer portal and all that stuff, how that would have changed my approach. I would hope that it didn't, because from what I understand about me and from kind of what I'm seeing about a lot of these college kids nowadays is like, if they don't play, they're just going to transfer. And maybe it's because of that, or maybe it's because they're chasing money, and, I can't fault them for that. But it's, to me, it's like, you got to be you got to get so uncomfortable with just not being good enough to where you make a change. And that's kind of how I went. And so you know, I redshirted my freshman year at Wisconsin. You know, still trying to, you know, bring the weight down and keep it at a good place. And then I go win the backup job my second year, have some experience, get the starting job my third year. Not a great season. Kind of didn't really realize what it really took. You know, changed some things junior year, really changed some things once junior year, once I saw that my friends were getting drafted to the NFL. And I was like, oh, this could be like a real thing. Like, the NFL is not just a, you know, something in the sky you can never touch. Like, people I know and people I played with are getting drafted. Like, all right, let's change something again. And so changed the way I played again and ended up getting drafted in the second round to the St. Louis Rams in 2015. So as a real quick overview, but that's kind of the journey I had. And like I said, I've been lucky for a lot of my career, and so I think a lot of hard work can breed that luck, and so it's just something that, you know, worked out in my favor.
And I appreciate you sharing it, because the perceptions are sometimes you got to be a phenom. Oh, it's just the talent's just already there. You've been working, you've been playing for all these years. It's, you know, it just fell into your lap. Oh, you worked hard, but the opportunities fell. Well, actually, 3-star recruit, someone else saw you play, but you weren't the primary guy. But hey, check out this guy. He could be a good fit. You had to make personal changes to take yourself to the next level. And then through adversity, you fought through it to continue getting to the next level. And, you know, those are the parts that I think for anyone out there that's listening, you started playing in 9th grade. You were on the freshman team, and yet all those years later, you're retiring as an 11-year vet in the NFL and a Super Bowl champion. And if that ain't a good thing or a good story, I don't know what is. And we could talk more about that, Rob. I got 2 questions for you, and I'll let you go. What do you wish you knew when you were younger? Any part of advice, life? What is something you wish you knew?
You know, hindsight's always 2020, but every life experience you have is just an opportunity to get better. And, you know, I'm not just saying that as like, you know, trying to be sappy by any means, but from my experience, you know, I've had a great life up until now. I wouldn't change a thing, you know, really, because how would that have affected my future if I came in and be like, hey, you know, I don't want to balloon up that much and have to stairmaster 3 times a week for an hour or whatever it is. But it's like that added grit, that added some work ethic. So why would I take that out of my story if that's what got me to where I am now? So honestly, I wouldn't change much. If anything, I would say, you know, stay more connected with the people around you that helped you out in the past, you know, that are good buddies, and something I'm trying to do now. So that's kind of the only thing I would have going forward.
And last thing for you, we're talking about the summertime. And now you might have more time in the summer to do what you want. Place you grew up as a staycation or vacation as a family. And then what's one place now you would love to go and visit if it's a dream spot for you in this next stage of your life?
Oh, man. You know, get out and experience something overseas. Take the kids out there to, you know, something they haven't seen, something I haven't seen. Just, man, go experience it a little bit. I guess I don't have one place in particular. You know, been to London a couple times through a business aspect of it, but yeah, somewhere over there in Europe, Germany would be really fun. Spain would be really cool. And so, you know, take the kids, have them go experience some different cultures, and go have some fun while we're doing it.
Well, cool. Well, hey, Rob, I appreciate you, man. And as you're exploring all of your media, your ways, we hope to have you on in the future. We can reminisce
Absolutely.
on other parts of Maryland, talk more about your journey. And maybe I need to hear about how you kick some people's ass on the field instead of the other way around. Does that work?
That's right. I got some
cool.
stories
Then where
like
can
that
people
too.
find all of your information if they want to know more about what's happening with Rob Frankenstein Havenstein?
That's right.
They got it right?
Haven,
Perfect.
Havenstein.
Haven, nope.
Oh,
You know what? I'm
That's
going
all right.
right into the fucking harbor.
Yeah,
Oh,
this one you might actually have to.
I know, dude. Why am I? It's like unique New York. Why am I?
Believe me,
get
you're
one.
not the
We'll
only
get
one.
next
You
time.
won't be the last one. But yeah, you can
Havenstein.
find Havenstein. Yep, you can find me over on Instagram. I'm not even sure my tag. I'm pretty sure it's R Havenstein 79. But yeah, we're doing our stuff over in Believe in Rams, and my co-host Aaron Costanelli. And so you can find it on YouTube anywhere podcasts are available. You can go check my page. I'm posting a lot from it. You can find links there, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, Rob, appreciate you. Sorry for the butchering of the name. I'm going right for a swan dive into the Inner Harbor. But have a great rest of your week, and I look forward to talking to you soon. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, Rob, everybody. Wait, so Frankenstein, Havenstein, right? Why I even knew that.
Did the research and everything.
I did, and I still fucked it up. It's okay. But you know what? Rob is amazing. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. What I love with that, Zach, when we're looking it up, when you're looking at Aaron Donald's profile going back to college, you know, this is the part, these are the stories that you hear, is that when you look at where guys get to, it's not necessarily the way you think it needs to be. That's the insight that we're talking about. It's the journey, it's the grind, it's the determination, and above all, if you keep putting your best foot forward and you keep adjusting and you keep learning from your experiences, you're going to have an opportunity to accomplish something great. And for Rob, he did that. 11 years in the National Football League, Super Bowl champion. And now he has the opportunity to enjoy this next chapter in his life. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. Do this live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Yeah, I'm not going to sleep at night now, Zach. I'm not.
And you might not be the only one because I don't think Yankee fans are going to sleep until they get an update on Aaron Judge, who is not in the lineup, and they are sending for more testing.
Whoa.
They hope it is a day-to-day thing, but apparently Aaron Judge, I've seen two different things. I've seen shoulder, I've seen rib bruise, but it is in fact a bone bruise. It looks like at the moment for Aaron Judge, they are hoping that they caught it early enough that it will not turn into a long-term thing. Shoulder soreness imaging shows a bone bruise, and he will meet with a team doctor now. He is not in the lineup. So Aaron Boone just said, hopefully we've avoided something serious, but we'll have an idea more when he meets with the doctor. And then as the next couple of days unfold, reaction.
That is nerve-wracking for Yankees fans. That might put them in the full panic mode. You know, the one thing I will say, unlike previous years, I think this Yankees lineup can sustain without him. Is it a huge gut punch? Yes. I'm not gonna say that you're losing the best. I still think he is the best hitter in baseball. That's the guy you want. But their offense has answered a lot more questions with the emergence of Ben Rice, how Cody Bellinger has played so far this year. And their starting rotation and staff, they have a really good staff. But yeah, long term, I'm not going to jump to this yet. I don't want to go there, but we know what happens if you don't have Aaron Judge for a long period of time. If it's anything short term, I think the Yankees are going to figure it out. Long term,
and I've seen this, I think I saw, actually shout out Ryan Garcia, I think posted this, friend of the program, that the Yankees still have the highest slugging percentage, even if you take out in the lineup, even if you take out Aaron Judge. So yes, if it's short term, I don't think it's much of an impact. Long term, I do think if we're talking a month and a half, I think this is the classic Yankees have their June. Like, I feel like this happens every June with New York.
yeah,
Where something weird happens, and then like I would put good money on the Yankees over the next 35 games finish under 500. and then just something magically clicks and then they're off and they probably make the ALCS and just do that stuff. But they always struggle in these mid months. The reason I think they'll be fine is, let's be honest, I think you could really put any offense with that pitching staff and you probably feel good 5 out of 5 games. So in that aspect, they would still win a lot of games, even if Judge has to miss a few weeks or something. But as it gets longer and longer, you know what Aaron Judge means to that team, just from a confidence level. If you're down 2 runs at any point and Aaron Judge is due up at any time, you're like, okay, we just got to get someone on in front of Aaron and we're good. It brings a confidence out that I don't know that team has if Bellinger, Rice, and Chisholm are then tasked with kind of picking up the slack. I don't know how. Love Ben Rice, absolute star, but Aaron Judge is a different level.
Well,
like they're just guys who are you can't replace.
And
Aaron
on
Judge
a down time for Aaron Judge, because he's only hitting 248. He still got 17 jacks, 38 ribbies, and has an OPS north of 900. And his WAR then is only 0.1 behind Ben Rice. I mean, Ben Rice is balling out, hitting 306, 1,000 OPS, 17 jacks. He leads the Yankees with 44 RBIs. Cody Bellinger also playing very well, 8 home runs, 38 RBIs. But Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. He's a guy that can take over and carry a team for months. It's honestly what he's done with the Yankees for the previous years. So knock to it. That's just fact. That's the reality. There was concerns if he got hurt, if they could sustain, and it was shown. I think they feel better, but certainly they'd feel better if the Judge is in the lineup.
And this has been something Boone said that he's been dealing with this soreness for weeks, and it became more than that in Sacramento. Imaging showed a bone bruise. He'll meet with team doctor. Could be day-to-day situation, but that might be the reason. Like, okay, what if he's not feeling well? That may be why he's batting 248. And once again, if you're the Yankees, I hate to be this way, do you really care right now? No. The goal is for Aaron Judge and this team to be firing on all cylinders in October. If it means Judge sits out a month to get it all feeling good again and then back to Aaron Judge where he's hitting 300 with 60 home runs potential, you take that. You take him missing a month in June for him to be right in October, especially with the start they've had in their pitching staff. You can make that work. Obviously, if it would be long term, that's a bigger issue. But if this is just a bone bruise, some discomfort, get that figured out. I'm not too worried about Judge and the Yankees.
Yeah. Maybe to finish the show real quick, because I saw it. Do we just debunk this? Or no, I shouldn't say debunk, but can we?
The dumbest rumor going around in the face of Major League Baseball at the moment? Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, let's talk about it. I just saw the comment in the chat. I hate how much this is on my timeline right now.
So Joel Sherman with MLB Network Insider was talking about that the Yankees would be interested in a catcher, maybe a couple, depending on the option. So Ryan Jeffers with the Twins, right, was one of the options. And then the other one was, they're going to keep their eyes on Adley Rutschman for the Yankees. And saying, would the Orioles do it? They might. And I'm sitting here thinking about this. And I'm thinking about it, Zach. Would the Orioles give up Adley Rutschman to the New York Yankees?
I don't think the Yankees are going to like how uncomfortable the deal would have to be.
And I have, I can't even lie about this. I don't see any way that this is a possibility. And I know the teams trade within divisions. If the Orioles traded Adley to the Yankees while both teams were contending this year, that would be awful. And I just don't see it. I don't see it.
It makes no sense. Especially because, the more Basayo hits, the more I'm like, his hit tool is kind of what's, his potential. And I think having 2 catchers, I don't want to pigeonhole Basayo into he has to be an everyday catcher where he has to have more focused on defense. And right now, things are just firing on all cylinders. Why not have him go out there and continue to work on. Like, it takes so much pressure off Basayo at 21 years old to have Adley there. Like, I think people want to pin them against each other when, dare I say, the other being there is the reason both are having great seasons. Adley doesn't have to be the guy at the catching position. He can get more days off, more DH days where he focuses on offense, being healthy. Basayo doesn't have to get thrown in there besides those few weeks where he struggled offensively when he became the full-time catcher because Adley was out. I think they have helped each other. I don't think this is an either or. I think this is you're really lucky you got both of these guys behind the plate because, as we're seeing with rumors, a lot of teams would kill to have just one.
Yeah, I'm sorry I have this reaction to it. This would also, my reaction or disgust about this would be even at a level, Zach, you might never see if he got traded to the Yankees. And it's not the fact that it's the Yankees. It's just that making sense. It wouldn't make sense to me at all. At all. Division rival. You're competing. You both have aspirations to be in the postseason. And even if you were out of the postseason race this year, I still have a hard time seeing them trade to a division rival in this circumstance. And given what's going on right now, they have a huge advantage that you just mentioned by having two catchers. Now, I still think they need to figure out how to get those guys in the lineup every night. But having that ability allows them to both have more offensive success and allows them to go out there and play a more sound defensive game. And you can keep them both healthy. And unfortunately, right now for Adley, he has been banged up over the last couple of years. So what's the best thing to help him? Keep him healthy this year. And I know you're looking at value, but if the Orioles are contending, Zach, it's not about value. You keep the best guys on your team. You don't trade them away. And I think for the Orioles case, when it comes to the deadline, I expect that the Orioles will be in the race. They should be in the race. If they're not in the race, then it's going to get pretty loud here in Baltimore. So for all those reasons, I believe that if you told me the Padres, Zach, or some other team like that, because we know Preller, he's talking about Les Snead saying F them picks.
F them prospects.
Hey, Preller, that's what they've been about. Like, that would make more sense. But I still think Austin Wells is a really solid catcher. I don't know if you're going to be willing to do that. Is it worth it? I don't know. Personally, I'll put that to rest. You'll hear a rant from me if that trade's made. Is that better?
Yeah, it makes no sense for anyone.
And I'm not going to even go into the whole Tarek Skubal thing because that's
against trading for him.
No, just any of the rumors with that.
Oh yeah,
too early.
I don't think that would be a massive mistake.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we won't talk about it.
And we'll get ready
to get me
wrap,
out of pocket.
And we got to get ready to wrap up the show in a second. There's some guy hiding in a bush. You see who's
when
here?
did he get? I take my headphones off for 2 seconds. When did he get here?
Hi, Rock.
What's up, guys?
Why? What are you doing? What could you?
Rocco DeSangro, everybody joins the show.
It's a real bush too. Look, I can touch it.
Yeah,
it's not like an effect or anything.
Oh, that's actually what everyone was asking in the comments.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Is that an effect? Is that an effect? Oh my gosh!
Does Rocco have a real bush? That's what the question in the comment.
Today I do have a bush. Tomorrow I might not have a bush. Might have to trim the bush.
Well, aren't those? Wouldn't those be?
It's not a bush, by the way.
I don't think it is a bush. If we're going to be really technical,
It's like one of these things.
That's a plant.
It's a plant.
It's a bush. It's a ficus.
Rocco would definitely be a big bush guy. Like, I could definitely see him having a lot of bushes as he got older.
I mean, it's much easier to keep a bush than to trim a bush. Maintain.
I mean, I guess we could, if it's landscaping. I'm not a landscaper, Zach. Are you? You understand?
I think Rocco seems to be the bushmaster right now.
That's what they used to call me.
Oh Jesus!
How you doing, Rock?
What's on your mind? I'm afraid to ask. What's on your mind?
Yeah. No, we're not going to ask what's on your mind. How are you doing?
You don't want to know what's on my mind. Doing great, fellas. How are we? How's everything?
Going well. Had 2 great interviews.
Nice.
I kept mispronouncing Havenstein.
Yeah, I figured you would. That's why, on the phone call before the show, I said, make sure you
No,
pronounce
the
it
thing
right.
is, I had it. I looked at it. I had it down. And then I just messed it up in the moment.
Did
Twice.
he call you out for it, or did you call yourself out for it?
Both.
Or did Jack call you out?
He asked.
Both. I asked.
Oh, yeah. And he just said, wrong.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were great. Jim
Great.
Schwartz, great. Rob
Thanks.
Havenstein, great.
Havenstein.
Schwartz was fantastic. Just talked about everything.
Yeah.
Seems
Talks
like-
about how it was so damn easy to stop the Steelers. Just kidding. He didn't say that, but
That's hilarious. Sounds like something Nick Moore would say too if you ever join the show again.
Maybe one day.
maybe
Yeah,
one day.
Maybe he'll be a recurring friend of the program again, and not just somebody that I used to know. Sad times, guys.
But you didn't have to cut me off, Rock.
Didn't have to cut you off exactly.
Do you even know what I was saying there?
What?
Did you get the reference there?
Yeah, absolutely.
The song. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, I was surprised he knew it.
Yeah. I know.
Well, it's like the weirdest video of all time. Like the music video.
Also, that's a one-hit wonder, right?
very one-hit wonder. He disappeared.
I feel like that's a music video you have to watch while you're like, obviously not recommending this for anyone, and I haven't done it myself, but you got to be like tripping balls if you're watching that music video, correct?
Yeah, not any advice or anything, but probably to enjoy it, I would be tripping. But
Listen, there needs to be
Rocco,
like
what kind of advice did we just
well,
after
feel
5
like-
o'clock?
I feel like
Rocco
there has
gives
to
his
be a
advice.
disclaimer at the bottom, like on the ticker, if you want to fire that up, Zach, and put that in. Like
This is not
Ryan,
advice.
Ryan Ripken show does not recommend.
We do
Use
not
your phone while
endorse
watching
this.
this music
Please don't
video.
sue us. Thank you.
I got my tux.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just wanted to update you guys on my life since you always ask.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
didn't ask though. So
Oh,
that's
no.
good.
No, you did.
I did ask?
Yeah, you might have. It's first time I'm wearing a tux in a while. Should be good.
I'm really excited for you.
Thanks.
Can we get a photo of the tux?
Do you want like an actual photo of the tux, or do you want a photo of me in the tux?
I don't think we need to.
I mean,
I can
Sure.
send you what it looks like the Men's Warehouse little guide thing.
no, we can see the kid size. I would like to see it.
Okay, sounds good.
The kid size tux.
Nice.
Yeah. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. And actually, we got to go from one stream to another, Zach, for a moment here. Hey, Rock, do you want to do the read?
No, I'm done crossing streams.
So, with our friends at AutoStream, an AutoStream Car Care Center, Zach, they got 11 locations and counting, and they are running a double play promotion all through the month of June. That is 2 oil changes for the price of 1. That is 2 oil changes for $99.99. All you got to do is use the name Ryan Ripken or the double play promotion at any AutoStream Car Care Center. We appreciate them. It's not a matter of if, it's a when you need to get your car taken care of, and those are the right people, great people. We appreciate our friends over at AutoStream. So from that stream, back to this stream. Cut the streams. We're not crossing streams, Rock.
It's good. It's not
Why
recommended.
do I feel like he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt?
It's just a plain white polo. That was a very beautiful ad read. Beautifully done.
I know.
Proud. Do you think the people from AutoStream watch sometimes and they see me pop in and just butcher the entire sponsorship read? And they're like,
Well, luckily you've only done one. So
well, I think that's going to be the limit for me going forward is one ad read.
yeah.
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 Yep.
Yep. Zach, any other thoughts, concerns?
No, I think we've gotten a lot done today.
We had a lot.
Yeah, fantastic show.
A lot of things. Also, later in the week, Thursday and Friday will be a little different for me. Thursday, I'll try to join live. I'll be traveling. Friday, I'll be busy, so I don't know if I'll be able to do the show then. Maybe I'll be live from somewhere else. Maybe I'll be the call-in guest.
Can I call in with the tux on during the wedding? Kind of like we did with yours.
So first off, I didn't know of anything calling in with that.
You're right, and that's why we deleted that stream. That's like the forbidden stream.
I didn't even know what was going on. We're talking about in a different, maybe I was in a different place and state of mind. I was enjoying the moment.
Great time. Me and Zach just looked at each other and said, "Yeah, let's go live," and we did. And
Certainly
I think
did.
Brad gave us the blessing, and we just kind of took it and ran with it. And it was, Zach, is that unlisted or is that deleted forever? Because I hope that one day we can bring that back and just watch the entire thing. Because it was, that
was unlisted. That is definitely not up there anymore.
That was. I don't think that'll ever see the light of day again. But yeah, that was talk about rip after dark.
That was a certain rip after dark
brutal.
that I didn't realize was even ripping.
Well, I tried to keep you off screen as much as possible because you were.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was good friend there, right? Yeah.
What sorry, when are you in your tux?
When am I in my tux? Friday.
Okay. Well, that will be up to the people running the show because I won't be able to run the show on Friday.
I guess I'll take a pass then because I don't think they're going to let me on the stream. Makes sense.
Again, don't have to talk to me. It's whoever's running the stream.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
And yes, I might be taking a trip up north, Justin, on Friday.
Up north, like where?
Just north.
Just north.
It's like north of Maryland.
Yeah,
Just north.
Yeah, it actually is north of Maryland.
Yeah. What
He's
else?
like a bird in summer. Just got to fly back north.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. This is great.
Go see all my friends named Jay.
All right. That was got to do better.
Well, Matt,
Yeah,
got to do better than that. Yep.
That's good.
That's gonna do it, Rocco, Canada. Should we get on out of here, Zach?
Yeah, let's hit the music.
Hang on,
All
Matt.
right.
You have to. Terrible.
Where's the bush, Rock?
Bam, bam, bam.
Reggie Bush.
As always here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night. Oh, sugar, get that bush out of here. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Yeah, let's trim up that bush, Rock.